knowledge being spread. It's like warm butter across the bread. Smooth, I know you like that. Flow with the grain and don't fight that. You want righteous love, you found the right match. With Marty McFly, they on the right track. Yeah, gotta dig the dirt to plant the seed. Spread roots till you sprout like a tree. Doni Jones, she the one you wanna see. Doni Jones live, this is where you wanna be. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live. It's Doni Jones live, Doni Jones live.
Hey, welcome to Doni Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady hanging out with
that guy, Marty McFly, trying to stay fly. You know,
we are fly. You're fly. You got a vest on today.
You know, since COVID and everything, I had stopped wearing ties and dressing up because I've always been in the house. You know,
right.
We do those little quick shots here or there, but I felt like it's the time for me to kind of dress up a little bit.
You are dressed up. I mean, you're looking very sharp, gentlemen. You are
trying to.
And I like that orange color. See, I thought at first that you was kind of blend in, but you stand out. I like it. That color works for you.
Yeah, but
so those of you that are listening to us on the radio, you can't see this, but if you go to YouTube and check out the show, because we do pop this up on YouTube, you can see Marty looking his fly self.
Look at my Sunday best.
That's right.
Look at that. But anyway, Donnie, how are you been doing? How was your weekend? What's going on with you?
I am doing so good.
You look like it. You got a little gloss going on.
I got a little lip gloss on.
Look like your hair was twisted a little bit.
You know what happened? I did it on my own. I washed it myself. I didn't do the twist. No.
Oh, okay.
It looks darker.
Yeah, it does.
Reason. Whenever maybe it just looks dusty most of the time. But it's not dusty. I just honestly water.
You just washed it?
I washed it and that's it. That's it. I didn't do nothing else to it. I just washed it.
Let me ask you a question, Donnie. That's not normal.
I rinse or either wash my hair I don't wash it every week, but I rinse it every week. But I clean it every week. Like I don't.
And your hair gets darker.
And my hair grows like a weed.
But it gets darker.
I don't know why. And I do not have color in my hair.
It might be some dust, a whole lot of dust throughout the week that just accumulates. Because if you only put some water on it once a week.
Well, I rinse it. Not rinse, but like.
Why don't you try washing or rinsing in your hair maybe once a day? I'm just saying, if you play in trees and stuff like that.
I have locks. But maybe that does happen.
Yeah.
Because I go to job sites every day. For those of you guys that don't know what we're talking about, I own a tree care company here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
And so
trees.
I go to our job sites. So maybe what it is even though I do, I'll let the steam and the water get in my hair or my scalp or whatever, and I just try to keep it moist. But if I'm not completely rinsing it, maybe the dust from when I go to job sites makes it look kind of a dusty look. Because every time I wash my hair, people go, "Did you color your hair? Like, did I color it black?" And I'm like, "No, my hair is naturally black."
Yeah, Donnie. I got furniture in my house that gets gray too and dusty.
Like gray.
And then I have to kind of wipe it with.
Are you trying to say? Because I want to hear this. Are you trying to say the days leading up to whatever it is when I decide to actually wash it with soap? Are you saying my hair looks dusty?
Well, I'm saying that there's a noticeable difference that when you finish washing or how you say wetting your hair, it gets darker. Normally that says something has been removed. And if it's, I'm saying like I was saying, when I dust the furniture in my house, sometimes it does look darker. It looks a little bit more. On
a more positive note,
yes,
what's going on? Okay, so you were asking me what's going on.
Yes.
I'm excited because my college age student my daughter is coming home this weekend. So yay!
Cool,
so I'm really excited about that. Get a chance to see her, and of course, spend some time with her and my husband and my youngest daughter. But the other reason why I'm excited is because I did what you did last week.
Okay, now what
I said you went camping.
Oh
right?
yeah.
You went to okay, now I didn't go camping, but I did go up to the mountains. I went to the Blue Ridge
nice.
Mountains in Georgia, and it was just so beautiful and so dynamic, and just it was just so peaceful. And the reason why it made me think of you is because you always make fun of me, and you had just did this last week, going out and getting out in nature. And I just think it's important that we embrace that, and that it's not just, only these kind of people go camping or only these kind of people go to the mountains. Well, all of us should go to the mountains.
Well, you know what?
Because you tried to cheese me about
that. I am learning. I'm still correct, though. but I'm learning. You know, where
What do you mean correct?
that certain people they ain't gonna go camping. It ain't them.
Yeah,
You know?
certain types of people
People,
won't
they
go
just
camping,
ain't
but
gonna
it doesn't mean okay.
But it
let's stop
doesn't
talking in
mean-
code.
What?
You try to make it look like a lot of the stuff that I like doing is primarily for white people. And that's not true.
I didn't
Like there's
I didn't
black
say
people that
all
scuba dive.
Right,
There's
yeah.
black
Maybe
people
two.
that camp. There's black people that horseback ride.
Right,
There's
right.
black people that snorkel.
Right.
There's black people that zip line.
There's a
So,
lot of
I'm
black
just saying.
people that do a lot of different things. But I do
Right.
understand that there are some people that refuse to go camping. They're like,
Right,
that
but
is
it has
not
nothing
me.
to do with color.
It doesn't have to do. No.
I just want to put that out
Yeah,
there.
right. It doesn't have to do with color. Just some things are weird. You know, when people swim with sharks.
That's not weird. If you
weird.
got the right gear on, and if you are with people that know what they're doing, it's not weird. It's like it's an activity that a lot of people do. So yeah, so my week, last week I did that. Super
that's great.
excited.
That's great.
And
That's
this
great.
week I'm excited about seeing my daughter. So what about you? What's going on with you?
I got a couple of different things that's going on, but back to the camping thing. Since we went camping the other week,
Yeah.
my congregation and family, they are trying to go back camping
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we got to take a break,
Yeah.
because it was so fun and they enjoyed it so much. But
Yeah.
that's one thing that I will say, camping was great. But for me, we are this coming Sunday is what we call Reformation Sunday.
Yes.
Where
Okay.
it is like the reform the changing of the church in so many words from many, many years ago when the Roman church was, you almost have to pay the church for you to go to heaven or
For
keep you
people
out of
that
hell.
are listening in for the first time or don't know.
Yeah, oh yeah,
you gotta
I am a pastor of St. Mark Lutheran Church.
Yes.
I'm actually gonna change that up, but pastor of St. Mark.
There you go.
And one of the things that we celebrate is the Reformation. The reform of the church.
Yeah.
But this Sunday we are actually doing something. We're bringing in new members to the church.
Nice,
Because
nice.
now, keep in mind, most
a member.
churches. Yes, you are a member, and a faithful member. And I'm not gonna. Might not come, but you have your presence there and you do your ministry. But like other churches,
My energy is now.
a lot of other churches, Pentecostal Baptists, at the end at the end of service, they say, "Well, the doors of the church are open, and come
Yeah.
on up here and shake the pastor's hand, and you can be a member of the church."
Right.
Well, what we do a lot of times is we go through a confirmation class because we want to know. We
Yes,
want you
you
to
do.
know. We want you to know what you're joining. A little bit of the who, what, when, and where. So it's not like
That was homework. No, I'm just-
well, it's a thing of just a little bit of education. But anyway, I'm bringing in a good, I think about 15 new members.
That's great.
Yeah,
man.
so I'm happy about that. Happy,
I'm so proud of you.
yes,
That's awesome. Very cool.
and other than that, regular church stuff, and
Yeah.
it's funny when I have some accomplishments.
Yeah.
They got to be almost quiet accomplishments because
Yeah.
it's like this. If I help a young man get a job for the first time, I can't say his name.
Right. That's true. That's
but
true.
I'm happy.
You just
that-
got to make sure he keeps that job. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. But then there's a question that I've come across that I want to ask you about, and we might have a little time now to talk about it, or we can kind of move over to the other side of it.
Yeah.
To our next break. But the question is, are we trying to stay where we're at, or are we trying to move forward? And it's an interesting question.
I'm in that season.
But it's an interesting
I'm in
question
that season.
that I'm asking because sometimes neither one of them is wrong. But if you understand where you're at,
Right.
because some people might say the lifestyle that I have right now, I just want to maintain it. I want to keep the income that's coming in,
Right.
and maintain. And then others are saying, I really want to do more
Right.
than what I'm doing right
Right.
now. And it goes back to the understanding of having a life coach
Yeah.
and a psychologist.
Yeah.
Because a psychologist or a therapist,
Yeah.
they deal with unpacking your past.
Yeah.
Where a life coach is trying to impact your future.
Yes. yes.
So sometimes I kind of wonder, in your business or where we're at in life right now,
Yeah.
are you just trying to maintain where you're at?
Oh, this is so good. Let me tell you why
Mm-hmm.
this is so powerful. I was talking to a good friend of mine, somebody, and I'm not going to use her name right now.
Oh, Sheila?
And
Oh, no, I saw you was talking to her earlier, and I didn't.
no,
but-
that is not who I'm talking about.
Okay.
That is not who I'm
Sheila,
talking
this
about.
ain't your business
This
this
is
time.
not your business. It's totally something completely different. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and something happened this week,
Mm-hmm.
which, she's been talking for years about doing her own thing, working on her finances,
Okay.
taking her income to another level, right?
Yeah.
Well, what happened was this week she got some information that is going to kind of put her back a little bit financially, but it's because she was waiting on something from an outside source. And so I said to her, and I have to be very sensitive how I say it because I don't want to kind of divulge what the outside source is. So I said, you've been talking about growing your business. You've been talking about building your income. You've been talking about saving and investing and moving forward with this dream you have.
Right.
I was like, I honestly believe that sometimes we get put into tough situations where we don't get the answer that we want, or we get a disappointment, and it's God telling us, okay, now it's time for you to go take off and build that dream so that you don't have to worry about the finances. So you don't have to worry about money coming from some other spot.
Right. Because
you're going to put your own self in a position where you can receive more and make more. And so a lot of times when we talk about, we talked about it last week, I think, where we talked about be still and know that I am God. There's that time that you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to be still and not move for a minute or just kind of maintain. And sometimes being still actually means your emotions. It doesn't necessarily mean your job.
Right.
But in this case, we'll talk about job. So you're supposed to be still and maintain. But other times, you're supposed to use that challenge that comes your way as motivation for you to take the next step in your growth or the next step in your business. So I want to say that if there's anybody out there right now dealing with a tough time, or you feel like just basically a monkey wrench, some type of crazy monkey wrench has been thrown in your thrown in your plans, and money isn't coming from where you thought it was, or a relationship isn't coming from where you thought it was, then maybe this is God telling you that it's time to go in another direction, and it's time for you to take that leap and try something different.
Right.
Or honestly, if you've been kind of hustling or doing something on the side, maybe it's just time for you to go for it and just do that thing, whatever that thing is. Or if you're in a job that you like, but you haven't, thought about growing with the company or doing something bigger and better in the company, maybe it's just time for you to ask for that promotion.
It's funny because when you said, like the Bible says, just be still and know that I am God, it don't say be quiet. It just say be still.
Oh, Marty, you got a way of just putting stuff. Just makes me think. I have never thought about that.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean necessarily be quiet.
So you can still.
And my mama say a closed mouth don't get fed.
Amen. So one of those things to think about, that you might be in a still place, but you can still communicate what you want, what you're trying to do, and speaking that vision, and actually speaking to the finances, or speaking to what you want to change. You have that ability, but we got to take a quick
we was on a roll. Okay, we'll take a quick break.
Yes. You're listening to Doni Jones Live. This is Doni Jones, and I am that guy, Marty McFly, and you can contact us
at 888-349-DONI. That's 1-888-349-DONI.
Yep.
And we will also be sharing our text number with you as soon as I look up what it is off my phone. But yes, we will have that to share with you also. Marty's going to beat me up, but
we'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Now when the weather starts to change, the rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree
If the
Service.
trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one fall on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
Question. Have you ever thought about where you're at in the Bible? The Bible is broken down in different parts. You got the Old Testament, the prophets, You got the Gospels, and then you have the letters from Paul. Where are you at in the Bible? You know, are you in the garden where you're still trying to figure life out? Or do you feel like you're in that 400 years of silence, not hearing from God at all? Where are you at in the Bible? I'd love to talk about it with you at St. Mark Lutheran Church. Yep, this Sunday at 11 a.m. We are in person, and I would love to worship with you. And we start at 11 a.m. We're located at 4137 Washington Road in East Point, Georgia. Now, if you're not in the Atlanta area, you can always log on to stmarklutheranchurch.org and be a part of any of our online services. That's stmarklutheranchurch.org.
Hey, this is Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.DoniJonesLive.com.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service.
And I am Marty McFly, owner of Vast Productions and pastor of St. Mark.
There you go.
Church in East Point, Georgia.
That's right.
I will invite you to come every Sunday morning, starting at 11 a.m. You know, I had to think about it too, because I'm like, some people I got to tell.
And now you really are starting at 11, not 11-ish.
No. I made it a point now. I start at 11. You know, if anything, it might be 11:02.
Yeah.
But 11 o'clock, because you know, I can't wait for people.
Yeah.
You know, we used to, in a sense, we have this problem that we feel like being late is okay sometimes.
Yeah.
Or it's not that serious if we don't start on time.
Right.
But it's like, no, if you make a plan to do something,
You need to do it. Yeah.
and fulfill it. Because other people say, well, if y'all start at 11, I'm gonna try to be there at 11. And then if ain't nobody starting, you know, then they'll come later, and then everybody else comes later.
And then but going back to what you were saying about in the previous segment about, you said something. Be still does not necessarily mean be quiet.
Being quiet, yes.
And what it made me think of is there's a lot of parables that are in the Bible that I think we don't really think. We think we know what it means, but then we either understand it or we overstand it to where we're not moving when we should, and that's not what he's saying.
Yeah, and there are so many misunderstandings sometimes in the Bible that, like you said, we'll read it but not really fulfill it or really get it in our understanding. Where if you think about the New Testaments, you know, the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, in those stories about Jesus, you know, healing people and doing, did you ever notice that it was more so of the other person's faith? More so than Jesus's magical.
Well, I think in life it's always our faith, but we think we be pleading with God to show up and show out, and sometimes it's like He's saying, "I got this. I need you to believe that I'm going to do it.
I need you to believe
and to do your part,
right?
Because belief is doing your part also.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we don't do our part. We don't do the paperwork. We didn't do the phone call. Mm-hmm. We ain't straightened up the taxes. Hello, Donnie. Yeah. We haven't, got that tag taken care of. We haven't, fixed the relationship with that friend. We haven't got the right, whatever. But we sitting here waiting for a miracle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like all we're doing is we're holding the door shut.
Right.
When all we got to do is do our part. It didn't say stand at the door. It said knock. And sometimes the knocking means doing what you're supposed to do to cause the door to open. It's not just speaking that it opens.
It's funny.
It's taking action.
It's funny. This happened to me actually day before yesterday. And it really stuck with me and my wife. because we was in a grocery store.
Yeah.
And, she was getting something and I was getting something. And then after we finished, we was in the car.
Yeah.
And I finally read the text because she sent me a text or whatever. Yeah. And I read the text and it said, I'm done waiting on you.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll be at the front. When I saw it, I read it and she said, no, there's a comma in there that you didn't catch.
Oh, that's
I'm
so
done
good.
Waiting on you.
Oh, that's so good.
And it's like,
oh, that's so good. I don't think people, because that was powerful.
Yeah.
We're going to so repeat that.
Right. So the first time that I read it, not in her words, but I read it and I read, I'm done waiting on you.
Yeah.
But I read it out loud and she heard it and she was like, no. There's a comma. It's supposed to have been, I'm done. Comma. Waiting on you.
That's so good. Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of like what God might be saying to us. And we thinking, he's saying, well, I'm done waiting on you. And he's like, I'm done what I did last time. Now I was waiting on you to do something.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I don't know where that sound just came from. That came from deep in me. I'm telling you. And what I've noticed, even in my own life and in my own business, okay, I am so excited, because we are getting ready to transition to an office that's got more space, where we have more parking, everything, right?
Okay.
And so this is a property that I have seen for 20 years, and I've known the people that have the property for 20 years. They've been there.
Okay.
They've been there, right? But it's never been on my radar, in my opinion, to even reach out to them, to talk to them. And they're right in a community that we do a lot of work at.
Okay.
And we do have a property further up the street that needs to be developed more that we're working on. But right now, we want to be more centralized. So literally, the Holy Spirit tapped me on the shoulder and was like, you need to give them a call. Now, sometimes when the Holy Spirit does that with me, I'm like, look, I don't know what that means. They don't know me. I mean, I know them, but we ain't talked for years. Like, I'll negotiate. Like, I'll be trying to find out why, right? Check this out. I called them and said, listen, hey, we're looking for some space for our trucks, blah, 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 blah. What do you think? And he goes, get out of here, Donnie. He goes, because he hadn't talked to me in 10 years, this person I'm talking about. We haven't talked for 10 years. And, he's a businessman also. He goes, 2 days ago, I saw your trucks out, and my sister was with me. And he said, look at Dawn, look at her go. I haven't talked to her in years. It's good seeing her still out there. I wonder what she's been up to, right? And he goes, that was 2 days ago. And then you called me. He goes, so we just need to make sure the numbers work. But he goes, well, whatever it is, I know this is a God thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because I told him that I hadn't talked to him, 10 years, and it just popped in my head to call him.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean,
it's
that in and of
it
itself,
works.
If we just act on what God has set up,
And this happens to me, and a lot of things that I go through, I'll try to be transparent because I'm not perfect and I make the mistakes, but my testimonies are the same sometimes.
That's
where it's like I asked God, the other week, I want to move forward. Like we were saying, I don't want to stay maintained. I want to start moving forward. I want some more clients. I want to do some more things. And since that day last week, I've been getting people saying, you know what, I've been trying to get my podcast back up.
Yeah.
Or I've been trying to get my show back up. But then I'm like, that's a whole lot of work. I don't feel like doing that. I just don't. Ooh.
Right.
Really? And then God says, well, why you keep playing with me? You ask for more.
For it, right.
And then I put it into, in your plate and bring it right in front of you that all you got to do is reach out there and grab it. And you're like, no, I'm good with where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to move forward. So, with that being said, and this is just me being transparent to everyone because I'm always trying to do better.
Yeah.
But I like to share my story too.
Absolutely.
When we ask God for that change, that increase, that change in the atmosphere of my finances and everything, He hears you, He listens to you, and He says, I'm done. I've done what I'm supposed to do.
That's
I brought it to you. Now I'm waiting on you to make the next move.
And I think it also goes back to what we were talking about, which is preparation. If you think about it, it says, and guys, we know that we talk about everyday things and we play and joke around and stuff, but we try to make our real life situations be applicable to where it's a benefit to you all. But we're also preaching to ourselves. But you go back to where he talks about, asking ye shall receive. What we're not understanding is that a lot of people are asking, but they're not even able to receive because they haven't set themselves up to receive.
Yeah.
You want that big check to come, or you want that big electronic deposit to come. You ain't even got a bank account.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even have a business, or you don't even have a job. You got to go do something. You ask for a job, you ain't got a cell phone where they could call you.
I love the phrasing of, you have not because
you ask not. Yeah.
You ask not, but I'm more so of like, you have not because is not. And since we're on radio, I'll say because your donkey is not. You have not because your donkey is not doing it. A lot of the stuff.
That's actually an animal that does work. I mean, I know what you're saying.
Yeah. But basically, you have not because you have not gotten up off the couch or off the porch.
That's right.
And do it.
That's right.
That's
right.
Man, I see so many people that
being in the area that I counsel people.
Yeah.
And I counsel people that, they always, I need a job. I need finances. I need this. And it's like, okay, well, UPS is hiring or, Delta is hiring.
Yeah.
And some of them either, one or two people, one that will not even apply for it.
Don't even apply, yeah.
And then the others, just to satisfy whoever's bugging them, they'll apply for it, but then they don't take it serious. They
don't take it serious.
I'm going to go in late.
Yeah.
Like we were saying earlier, start on time, be on time. They'll go in late.
Yeah.
They will not hold themselves to a higher standard. It's almost like I want to get paid as much as I can, but do as little as I can.
Right, absolutely.
And it's like that doesn't pay off.
That's right.
Try to be at work on time if you really want the job.
Yeah.
And because the job that you have is not the job that you will always have.
That's right.
Or
That's
that position. But if you go in there with your head held high, like have pride in myself and this position, they will move you up.
Yeah.
And you have a value
to yourself, and you stop trying to get me to counsel you.
But here's the other thing. I think sometimes people, I think people intuitively a lot of times know what to do. Mm-hmm. But I also, because I like listening to positive motivational people and stuff like that.
Right.
And I did not know that was on. I'm so sorry, you guys. That was my phone in the background. I listen to positive motivational people, right? And one of my favorite is Tony Robbins,
right?
And so I actually want to add a link to his book in the description if you watch this on YouTube.
Please do,
because that's my part of the thing. But anyway, but one of the things he talks about is raising your standards. That sounds good, right? And you should do that. But I think a lot of times people don't even know what that means to raise your standards.
Right.
Like, what is the standard you want to move up to?
Right.
What do you want your life to look like? And also, what raising your standard means, what are you willing to accept in your life?
Right.
What stuff are you wallowing in?
Well, you know what I like
that you're still dealing with that you really don't have to deal with, but you're doing it because you haven't raised your standards. And here's what I've noticed that some people might be a little afraid of, and because I know you've got something good to say real quick, is a lot of times when you raise your standards, people are afraid that others around them won't like them or won't appreciate them or may not want to be around them because they think they too this, that, and the third. Part of raising your standards is understanding you might lose some people.
Oh, yeah. And, it was a couple of things that went through my head when you were saying that. But no, when you better yourself, it's going to be some people that hate on you, that don't like you and just, I can't be around them. And you look back at them and say, bye.
Yeah.
Because where I'm going, this isn't where you need to go.
Right.
And I can't take you with me or drag you with me. And if you're trying to hold me back, you're not my true friend anyway.
Yeah. Can we talk about that in the next
segment?
I want to talk more about this, I guess not honing completely in on Tony Robbins, but because he's been such a big influence, but also you talking about how you're not going to be able to take everything with you. No. I feel there were some other subjects, you guys, we were going to get into today, but I really feel like it's by my spirit, I can feel like this is a place that we need to be.
This is speaking to someone right there.
I think we say that every week.
I know that.
But give us a call, seriously. And by the way, shout out to the lady that gave us a call.
She just asked you not to shout her out.
I'm not saying her name.
You did say, you wasn't going to call Teresa's name out there. You just going to leave it out there.
You just literally said.
Well, whoever
but
that
anyway,
lady was, we just
exactly.
want to say.
Call us and leave a message and tell us what you're thinking at 1-888.
Sorry. Go ahead.
888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. I'm going to hurt him.
That one caller. I thank you. We'll be back.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
When it falls, there's only one tree company to call. That's Don's Tree Service. Call them at 770-413-TREE. That's 770-413-8733.
Had looked out the window after the storm and found out that there was a tree that had fallen, so I needed somebody quickly. Made one phone call. The appointment was made. They got the tree down. They do full service cleanup, so that it looked like nothing had been done at all. Don's Tree Service did an awesome job for me, and I would recommend them highly.
Hey guys, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. We are an Atlanta-based tree service serving all of Metro Atlanta. And you know what? We proudly serve the underserved. And not only that, when we cut down your trees, we don't charge extra for cleaning up. So give us a call at 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Donnie the Tree Lady.
And I am that guy, Marty McFly.
Yes. Makes me think of McNuggets. And I don't like McNuggets. I mean, they're so gross.
Okay, well, the McRib?
McRib is gross. I don't eat pork.
Okay, well, McBeef?
Which brings me back to what we were talking about, raising our standards.
Just came back. I don't like your name. It reminds me of stuff
No,
I don't
like your name. You said, okay, I was joking about McFly. So, anyway, don't like McNuggets. And it's not real food, so don't eat it anyway.
Wait a minute. About that
I don't want to say that because McDonald's might want to be one of our sponsors, so don't say that. Which reminds me, if you have a business or you're an entrepreneur and you would like to get sponsored on our show, or you would like to sponsor our show, or you would like to get some advertising on our show, give us a call. 1-888-349-DONNIE. That's 1-888-349-DONI. You can already see there's some successful businesses that have advertised with us, and that's pretty cool.
It's funny. You were talking about the McNugget or the Nugget, and I'm not. Once they become a sponsor, I won't talk about them. Okay. But it was funny. We stopped at Wendy's actually.
Yeah.
And just trying to get something small, to snack on real quick. Yeah. And my wife got some nuggets, 4 nuggets and a small fry. And I was like, how does the nuggets cost less than the French fries when the chicken gave up its life?
Yeah.
But then, like you said, if it ain't real chicken, then I could understand that. But anyway,
I don't want to get sued by McDonald's. It could be.
I was talking
chicken.
about Wendy's, but
okay. I mean, you did say Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay, Wendy's. All of you guys. Disclaimer: all of it's real chicken. Wink, wink.
No.
Okay.
No. Anyway, we were
talking about what I wanted to come back and talk about because I really like the stuff that we talked about. I actually lived was raising your standards. And what does that look like?
Yes.
Because people think that it's just writing something out or just kind of wishing for something. But raising your standards means changing your behavior too. Yeah. And also raising your standards for yourself. For example, if you want to lose weight, you've got to raise your standards, meaning you're not going to accept eating crappy food anymore. Mm-hmm. You're not going to accept not going to the gym anymore. You're not going to accept saying you're going to work out and then choosing not to work out. By the way, I'm preaching to myself right now because I've raised my standard for my weight. So my weight is now still constantly going in the right direction. I'm thankful for that. But in people's life, this is what I wanted you to mention, especially as somebody that counsels people. A lot of times people raise their standards and they sometimes will fall back because they start to feel things start to shift in their life. And by the way, the book that I'm talking about with Tony Robbins, which he's got tons of books, but the first one that I ever read from him was called Awaken the Giant Within. So that was one of my favorite books by Tony. But so I wanted you to talk about about that.
I would say, with raising your standards, think about the totality of everything that you're raising too, because some people might say, I've been married for 10 years and I want to raise my standards. I'm going to get rid of him. or her.
No, we're not talking.
But
this.
at the same time, your family can raise its standards.
Yeah.
Of saying, okay, what am I going to accept and what I'm not going to accept.
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing earlier with Donnie because today was one of the days I raised my standards. Something small though, but it was one of those things where I stopped at Burger King and grabbed me a sandwich.
So you went to Wendy's and Burger King today?
No, Wendy's was yesterday.
Okay, got it.
Burger King, I was trying to get a quick breakfast.
You raise
before
your
we came.
standards and stop going to fast food places.
Well, look, everybody can't hire people to come to their house and cook for them.
I'm gonna leave that alone.
Okay, right. Thank you. All right, and clean up after them too. So until I can raise my
Cook
standard
for us all the time.
See, when you put in that all the time,
he wants it. And let's stay focused.
Right. That's what I was saying. Raise my standards of where I want to be at one day. But yeah, they messed up my order, and I'm driving halfway down the highway. But I'm like, I'm not going to accept this today.
Yeah.
Because I have I ordered this. This is what I had a taste for.
Yeah.
This is what I paid my money for, and I want my money's value.
Right.
So I'm going back to get it. But at the same time, with raising your standards, first you have to raise your understanding of who you are.
Ooh,
where do you want to be at, and who do you see yourself as?
Yeah.
And raising standards is at the same time of like, okay, it could be something small of starting on time. At Morris Brown and the band, they said, if you're on time, then you're late.
Military says that
Military says that, raising your standards for that. What can you do today to make tomorrow better?
Yeah.
For yourself or someone else. Raising your standards, like you say, the quality of food that you're eating.
That's right.
If your level of health.
That's right.
And your personal appearance. All of these things are things that you can improve in yourself.
That's right.
And don't just start having your imagination larger if you don't try to make your work larger.
Yeah.
In a sense,
I think it does start with imagination.
It starts with it.
You have to be able to visualize.
It starts with it, but it doesn't end there.
No, not at all. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work too. So you got to put in the effort and the work. It's not just. I love that song from Ludacris where it's like, I move, you move.
Yes.
Just like that. It's like I move. Well, God is saying that to you too.
That's true.
When I move, then you move.
That's right.
You ask for it. He'll put the situation in front of you for you to achieve it, to move forward, to, See, that's
But also going back to, and the only reason why I'm kind of nudging on this a little bit is because I did have somebody that she has started doing more marketing on Facebook.
Okay.
And she started doing more marketing in the media. And what she has said is that she's marketed to some friends, that are smart business people or I don't know. But she said that she felt bad because some of them now weren't responding to her and made her feel like she was posting too much on Facebook about her business.
Yeah.
And I was like, your business is your baby. You're getting your baby. You're teaching your baby to walk.
Yeah.
You're trying to give your baby the room that it needs to grow. And by doing that, you have to do that by putting the name of your business out there, putting your marketing out there, putting, talking about it. But she said, I just feel bad because I feel like now they're avoiding me because they think I'm only going to talk about my business. And she's not. Like when I talk to her, we talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And then her business will come up, which I'm proud of her. And I'm like, oh man, that's cool.
Right. Well, you know I'll say this: like minds, like people. Like we say, birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Business people understand business situations.
Right.
People that, it's sad to say it like this, but if you got that much time to hate on me, that means you ain't doing nothing in your life.
That's all I'm saying. Well, the thing is, some of these people are doing something, but she feels like less than because their business has already moved forward and they're avoiding her because they think that she's going to talk about her business. And I was like, but if these people are true friends of yours, they're not going to avoid talking to you. They're not going to not like your, because you say, well, they're not liking my posts and stuff. And I was like, you can't even think about that stuff. You're giving birth to something. You just got to go for it.
If anything, I would say that's a little bit of a token to know that you're doing the right thing.
That's right. Yeah.
When people are starting to hate on you because you're doing more.
Oh, that's so good.
That's kind of like what yeah,
That's
you're doing the
good.
right thing.
That's
you know,
good.
because it's like this. If ain't nobody hating on you,
That's
then
right.
most likely you ain't doing nothing.
But also, you know what just hit me when you were explaining that?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes if you've been in a certain place for so long
Yeah.
and you start trying to move up, even if somebody's your friend for a while, or maybe you perceive them doing okay, when they see you moving up, they actually might be a little jealous.
Oh, yeah.
Or they have a certain perception of you and they don't want to change that perception.
Right.
Like they don't want you to change because
They wanna keep you
wanna
down
keep
there.
you with who they think you are. And you gotta get to a
Are
point
you talking
where those,
about America?
Ooh.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. We ain't going there. But, you know, it's interesting how...
We only got one more segment left, so
Nah,
we
just-
could go there right now.
No.
Because there's some...
But it goes
actually, we're
into...
going to touch on that
It's something
next
to
of it.
make you think about, you know,
Yeah.
that people, they see you as, you know, the lesser sometimes.
Yeah.
And whenever you start moving up, you know, either that jealousy,
Yeah.
because they start seeing themselves.
Yeah.
Like, well, I ain't moved up. You know,
Yeah.
and it happens, and that's when you kind of smile and say, "Well, I must be doing something."
I must be doing something
You know,
right.
and
Yeah.
and you know, and then at the same time, when you, as the owner, as the leader of your business company, you got to take that.
That's right.
You
Or
know.
even your family.
Yeah,
Think
your
about
family.
this. If you have some jacked up situations with your kids or your relatives or whatever, and you get to a point where you're like, you know what, I want something different for the next generation.
Yeah.
I want something different now. And you start making changes. And for example, we do family meetings. Now we don't do them as often as we should, but we do family meetings.
Right.
We meet, you know, with each other and talk. Well, I have friends of mine. They're like, "What kind of stuff is that? Is that
kind of
bougie
stuff
stuff?
is
Is
that?"
that you know what I mean?" And I'm like, we get together.
No,
you know,
I
usually
hear a
on
lot of
Sunday,
people-
and just have a family member
Yeah.
talk about the schedule, talk about what they like, what they dislike, what's going on, how are they feeling?
Yeah.
you know,
and-
plans
and
for the future.
Believe it or not, my mother used to do that with us, you know, growing up. And some of my other friends that I talk to now, they do that with their kids.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's an open forum. And
Yeah.
it's like in this forum, you're allowed to say what you want, you know, in respect.
Yeah,
But
of course.
you're allowed to say what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
Say what your feelings are in a non-judgmental
That's right, yeah.
space. So
Yeah.
it's like if you're being bullied or if you did steal something,
Yeah.
or if you did, you know, get into a situation where it's like, I don't know, I might need some real help with this
Right,
one.
absolutely.
This is that forum to
That's right.
to discuss it.
That's right.
You know, and I remember one time I should have got slapped. You know, when I was growing up, because I said, I can't even remember what it was, but I looked at my mother and said, "You always let them get away with it." You know,
Right.
she's like, "Oh."
I mean, you are the baby, right?
But yeah.
But, yeah.
But it's still one of those.
You were the one that got away with stuff, though.
I didn't think so. You know, but that's a
If
different.
you're the
that's-
baby, you got away with stuff, most likely.
Well, you know, they always say the first child, you know, you're real anal about everything. You know,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that everything is right with them. And then
Yeah.
the more you have, the last one is kind of like, whatever. You know, so
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was the last one. So it was really like, I don't care. He's on fire. Okay, we just roll him around. He'll be all right. Just, what y'all doing tomorrow? You know, I wasn't
Yeah.
as important. But,
Yeah.
but no, I think having that open space is always important.
Yeah.
You know, I try to have it sometimes in church too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, of just having an open space of saying, "Hey, is there some things that I don't know
Yeah.
that y'all might want to bring to my attention?" Because
Absolutely.
as the pastor, there's a lot of things that go on that
Right.
y'all assume that I know.
Yeah.
But I don't, and I look at it as any other business owner too.
Mm-hmm.
That having that open space. I know you have meetings and everything with your employees and everything, but sometimes having that open space of just saying, "Hey, is there some things that are on your heart
That's right.
that I need to know about,
That's
or
right.
that y'all will want to address or say, hey, here's an observation.
Yeah.
You know, we are constantly out of gas in the trucks.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
can we have some kind of blah, blah, blah? I don't
Right.
know. You know, I'm
Yeah,
not
right. I know you're making stuff up, but yeah, because we are not out of gas. But go ahead.
Not
But I
today.
will tell.
No.
I will
No.
tell you, people need to start filling their tanks up every evening. I'm not gonna go conspiracy theory or whatever. Just keep your tank full. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just saying, keep your tank full and keep your refrigerators full. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't want them calling the radio station saying that I'm a conspiracy theorist. But that
They
brings
call it
me.
a radio station.
I mean, call us. Yeah, exactly. But we're going to take a quick break. But I do want to talk about something in this last segment that I think needs to be talked about.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm Donnie the Tree Lady.
I am Marty McFly. I voted. And and we'll be right back.
Yeah.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Now when the weather starts to change, rents start to fall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
If it's looking kinda weak and it's looking kinda bleak, who a tree specialist call?
Don's Tree
If
Service.
the trees in your yard are just too tall, who you gonna call?
Don's Tree Service.
Hey everybody, it's me, Wanda Smith, and I'm here with some great information. I don't know if you know, but it's hurricane season, and it's a great time for you to think about having trees removed before one falls on your home. That's something you don't want to happen. Listen, I called Don's Tree Service on a Monday. They were here in just a few days. The price was right, the staff was right, and I'm happy with everything they've done. So hey, if I were you, I would sit down with my family and talk about having trees removed before the hurricane comes and hit your home.
If you want more information about your trees, call Don's Tree Service, 770-413-8733. That's 770-413-TREE. Hey, this is Doni the Tree Lady, owner of Don's Tree Service. And as a small business owner, I get asked all the time, how did you do it? Now, for those of you that don't know, I basically started a tree service with $43 and a dream right here in beautiful Atlanta, Georgia. Now, during my journey, I've definitely been blessed to see the mountaintop, but I've also been in some rough valleys. And in my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I share my experience. My book really is a real woman's journey to building a happy, healthy, and successful life. But I gotta be honest with you, I read self-help books and I listened to audio programs about success, and I was still having difficulty achieving success in my life until I really got a hold of certain principles that made a difference. In my book, From Failure to Fabulous, I get very real and raw about what I did to build my company, my family, and my life. So please go check out my book, From Failure to Fabulous, on Amazon, or you can go to my website, www.donijoneslive.com.
It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live. It's Doni Jones Live, Doni Jones Live.
Welcome back to Doni Jones Live. I am Doni the Tree Lady.
And I'm gonna give me some water because I think she's about to go somewhere.
I don't know,
y'all.
I'm throw the question out there and then
Okay.
I'm gonna get me some water. Okay, you talked about how sometimes you have to either get away from certain people or no, we were talking about our country, right? And how sometimes people see you a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's time to do something different. Well,
I was thinking, no matter how educated, how far you get, they still see you in a certain kind of way, yeah.
Yes, they do. They do. And I'm glad you said that because I am never going to tell somebody which way to vote. Just for clarification, I'm independent. Okay? Independent. All right? And I was listening to a podcast, and I thought at first this was some BS, some Bible study. I thought it was some BS because they were talking about how racist some liberal-leaning people can be. All right. Now, I consider myself liberal with some conservative values, or I consider myself conservative with some liberal values, however, moderate, basically.
Right.
But they basically went to a college campus, and they went to like a very democratic suburban community.
Okay.
Right? And they asked them, these are woke, liberal Democrats that love people of color, Black Lives Matters. So they asked them, why do you think that voting rights bill is racist? And this is what they said. Well, Black people, a lot of them don't have IDs. Okay. Then another group of woke people was like, Black people, it's not fair how this country has oppressed them. And a lot of them don't know how, to get an ID and don't know, where to go get an ID. I'm like, okay. Then another woke one, liberal one was like, Black people, they've had it really hard. And so a lot of them, they don't understand how to use the internet and how to get registered and everything. And so, a lot of these, policies are oppressive to them because a lot of them just ain't learned how to do this, have not learned how to do this kind of stuff. And so that same news crew went to the black community and was like, yes, do you have a problem getting ID? And the lady was like, what? And he was like, do you have a problem getting an ID? And she was like, no. He goes, do you have an ID now? And she was like, yeah. And then another one, he went to another person, was like, hey, do you know how to use the internet? And she was like, yeah, I know how to use the internet. And so, and it just went on and on, you know? Do you feel like you've been so oppressed that you don't know how to register to vote? Is that what it is? Is that an issue for you? And, you know, people of color, black people were like, dude, what are you talking about? No, we're fine. But if you go to liberal people, you know, specifically liberal white people, they talk about how some policy is so racist because we just don't know how to do this or we just don't know how to do that. And it just goes to show me how racist people can be, but they think they're so progressive.
Donnie, sometimes it's not racist, it's just ignorance. You know, and
that's a good, you could call it that, yeah. I'll accept that.
Because some people don't even know that they're racist.
That's my point.
Yeah, they just know they're uneducated, or sometimes in certain places in America, and you don't think about this, that they are, the social media and the news outlets show people different ways than they show people here in Atlanta. You know, that I think I can't remember if I was in college or somewhere. Yeah. Where a young lady actually thought that all we did was eat chicken and watermelon because she's haven't been around us and what the media says.
No, this was a college camp. It was a college city and a college campus.
Right.
And some of them were adults.
And it's
most of them were adults on this campus.
Right. And it's almost like, okay, who has been talking to you? And have you been exposed to anything?
No. How about this though? Okay, and I'm just going to be. If this person is watching, I don't want to offend you because I know you support me and you support our company.
Go ahead and talk.
Okay, so I went to a job site. Okay, and the lady was a big fan of our company. She's seen us grow over the years. She's seen us do a lot of work. She finally needed some tree work. So she comes out. She's a white lady. She's so nice, right? But she comes out to me. She greets me. It's really warm. She has actually said, can I give you a hug? And I was like, absolutely, you can give me a hug. And that's what I love about our customers is that they're multicultural, different, whatever. So she's telling me how proud she is of us, that we got good people. And she goes, I see your trucks everywhere. And I am just really, really proud of you. And I know that must have been hard as a single mom. And I looked at her. And I was like, what makes you think I'm a single mom? And she's like, why? I saw one of your videos. I saw you talking about your kids. I was like, but what makes you think I'm a single mom?
Because you didn't talk about your husband.
No.
She just assumed.
She just assumed.
Right.
As a black woman.
And probably both of those kids ain't got the same father.
Oh, yeah. She probably thought that, too. And she was very apologetic. And she's like, oh, my God, I'm sorry. But you saw for a moment, she realized, wait, why do I think she's a single mom? Because there's this perception that a lot of Democrats have of us, or not just Democrats, Republicans, anybody, just people. But the fact that they act like they just really always got our back, but their policies have wreaked havoc in our communities for years. But we're not going to get in that part. But anyway, it's just, I just think we need to start thinking a little differently.
I think it's just an individual thing that people need to kind of slow down and see people as people.
As people,
I think I've told you this. I was at a convention at my church some years ago, a big, convention. And if y'all don't know, Lutheran church is kind of white. Predominantly, and it's still,
say that.
Great. Yeah, I'll say it. I'll admit it. I didn't know when I got in, but I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But I was at a convention and a lady, another pastor, whatever, was introducing me to some other pastors, especially this other Caucasian pastor, and she said, yes, I forget her name, so I'm just making up a name, but she's like, hey, yes, Nancy, have you met Marty? She's like, because I guess my curly hair or whatever and my complexion, but she was like, oh, yes, he took care of my bags really well last time I was here at the hotel.
Oh.
And I'm like, and I just wanted to see the crack that comes down her face. But he's a pastor, and no, I guess we all look like bellhops.
Yeah.
But I've been touched on the shoulder. Oh, that's Wells Fargo. Yeah, no, that's Wells Fargo saying it's negative. But no, I've been there trying to get coffee.
Yeah.
Somebody taps me on the back of the shoulder because I have a suit
I've had
on.
this.
And they said, would you mind getting me some coffee, sir?
Okay, I do have to tell you a funny story.
Uh-huh.
My daughters go to this foo-foo private school, really foo-foo,
Yeah.
nice private school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was an evening meeting, right? And so it was after hours for the parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I walk in, not late, but just a few minutes late because I was coming from a job site.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm coming up the steps, and one of the moms, I have nothing in my hands but my car keys.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. She comes down the steps. She's like, "Oh my God! So do you have the pizzas? Because they're in the conference room over there. Do you have the pizzas?" I was like, "Excuse me?" They're like, "Oh, you're not the pizza delivery person." I just looked at her. I was like,
What does that? What? Is
What
Pizza
about
Hut
me?
on me?
"Looks like I'm."
Is my hair that dusty today?
So you are saying my hair is dusty?
No.
Yes, you are.
I was saying it was dirty.
He's
not
saying
dusty.
dirty. My hair is not dirty.
Okay, well, dusty.
That is a stereotype about locks. My locks are beautiful.
No,
They're
wait.
clean. I love them. They're awesome.
Time out. If you're just tuning into the show,
Yes, if you
the beginning of the show, Donnie said that she washed her hair. And I was admiring it because it looked darker.
I don't know why it looks darker.
And she said, well, I don't know why people say that every time I put water on my hair gets darker. And then we was like, well, maybe since you're around trees and up under trees so much
never
throughout
thought
the
about
week,
it.
that you might accumulate dust, dander, sawdust, we're not going to say it's dirt.
It's not dirt.
It's
telling
just
you.
other foreign things that are accumulating in your hair that is sticking until you put some
I'm gonna hurt it.
wash some water on it.
So anywho,
But it's going back to it. It's just amazing how people can put stereotypes.
yeah. Now she was probably Republican though. Just kidding. I love
I-
everybody.
and I'll say,
I just think as
Republican,
black
Democrat,
people, we
I
need to
think-
start voting differently. Period.
You know what? Put it like this: even if we voted differently, I still think that woman would still have a stereotype of you of
Yeah,
having
I agree.
just being a single mom.
I agree. Yeah.
Certain things.
And there's nothing wrong with being a single mom.
No, ain't
but I'm
nothing wrong
saying,
with it. But it's
why
a
would you
stereotype.
automatically assume?
Right.
And then we got to go back to, okay, why would she assume that? Well, over 70% of African American babies are born to single moms, so maybe she's. But I don't know.
But
I wouldn't.
but
see,
what's
I wouldn't
hold on,
assume
time out. Well, what's the stereotype of single white women? We always know, right. But we always like to bring up the black stereotype.
Right.
But majority of them, are single moms.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll say the African Americans, well, a lot of them are on food stamps. Yeah, but the majority of people are Caucasians that are on food stamps.
Right, but nobody talks about
Nobody
that.
talks about
Right,
that. The
exactly.
stereotype isn't on them.
Right.
The stereotype is on us because that's how we always see you. Going back to what we said, once somebody sees you in a certain place, they don't want to see you.
They don't
want to
see you. Exactly.
Right.
That's my point. And we cannot keep supporting people that don't want to see us differently other than just being a meal ticket. And we are a meal ticket for a lot of people. I don't care if you're right. I don't care if you're left. I don't care what you are. Right. But we got to stop being utilized specifically by one party and keep voting for the same people, but don't see our communities get better. Don't see our schools get better. But also, on the same token, before we close out, we also do have to take some personal responsibility for some of the stuff that happens in our community. But I want to end on a positive note, so say something really wonderful, sweet, and inspiring, Marty.
Get off your bleep.
How was that wonderful?
Well, that goes back to everything. That's everything in a nutshell. Because your bleep has not gotten up and done
something.
If you want to change the stereotype of you, then start changing the stereotype of you.
That's right.
If you want more in your life, if you want to change something, ask God or pray to God like it's all on him, but you got to work like it's all on you.
Ooh,
so
now that's a word right there.
that's what we go.
That is what we gonna end on.
Yes.
Once again, you've been watching Donnie or listening to Donnie
And
Jones
watching.
live. Yeah, listening and watching. Check us out on YouTube.
Love you,
so
Donnie.
anyway,
Love you, love you, love you.
you too, man.
Have a
you guys have a
wonderful
great week.
Bye.
See ya.